In the set Shadowmoor, the Great Aurora has swept over the land, erasing Lorwyn's sunlight and transforming its bright meadows into sodden, mist-choked fens. Where there was once warmth and music, there is now silence and dread. The plane has become a warped mirror of its former self, familiar races and landscapes twisted almost beyond recognition. Once green-black, elves are now green-white. They're the closest thing Shadowmoor has to good guys, though that's a relative term in a world like this. As in Lorwyn, they revere beauty, but here beauty is more than aesthetics. It's a fragile symbol of life, light, and abundance, all of which are in short supply. Kithkin, once open and communal, now live behind walls of fear. Their psychic thought weft still links them, but constant dread has twisted it into a conduit for paranoia. Their downs, fortified armed settlements, are more like bunkers, lashing out at anything that wanders too close. In Shadowmoor, most threats are real enough, yet this same fear keeps the Kithkin isolated and stagnant, always bracing for the next attack. Once green-white, they have shifted to white-blue. The Merrow, formerly the clever stewards of Lorwyn's waterways, have degenerated into aquatic brigands. Shadowmoor's rivers and lakes are as blighted as its forests, and the Merrow who haunt them are driven by envy and greed. They loot whatever others value, banding together in gang-like schools to guard territory and plunder. Some still dare to explore the dark meanders, deeper, colder waters hiding secrets no one sane would want to uncover. Originally blue-white, now blue-black. The mono-red flamekin of Lorwyn have become the red-black cinders. Their fires dimmed, their forms reduced to charred husks trailing smoke. A legend blames a traitor called the Extinguisher for stealing their eternal flames. Whether true or not, the cinders burn now with only bitterness, spreading ruin for no reason but to make the world suffer alongside them. Shadowmoor's treefolk mirror its forests, leafless, gnarled, and diseased. Many carry the canker, a wasting blight. In Lorwyn, trees symbolized life. Here they seethe with resentment toward it. They loathe their existence but cling to it, unwilling to die. Oaks and black poplars remain, but twisted into dangerous, spiteful sentinels. Boggarts, meanwhile, have lost their spark of mischief, their folklore, their rules. All that's left is hunger. They devour indiscriminately, earth, plants, flesh, even one another in leaner times. No longer settled in warrens, they roam in ragged packs, leaving nothing but bones and bare earth behind. Once red-black, now red-green. Fairies are the lone race unchanged by the Aurora. They remain as they were in Lorwyn, vain, capricious pranksters who delight in stealing dreams. Una, their queen, remembers the world before and understands the Aurora's secrets, knowledge she uses to her own advantage. Giants, though not mad, are frayed at the edges. Being the largest and strongest hasn't shielded them from the toll of constant threat. Some lash out destructively in misguided attempts to fix the world. Others enslave smaller races. Still others retreat into deep slumber, savoring pleasant dreams until the inevitable moment they wake. Once Boros, now Gruul. Greater elementals still stalk the land, warped into forms that embody fear itself. Scarecrows, meanwhile, are Kithkin-built constructs animated by magic. They have no true will of their own, shambling through parodies of their intended roles. Whether their Dark King has a larger design for them remains an open and unsettling question. When crafting Shadowmoor, the card designers were guided by several principles. First, Lorwyn and Shadowmoor needed to feel bound to one another, recognizably the same world, yet each would have to carry a wholly different mood. Secondly, the set had to show change, not just suggest it. And finally, Shadowmoor and Eventide needed to build on Lorwyn's themes without cannibalizing its design space, pushing those archetypes forward rather than sideways. As a result, Shadowmoor's inversions of Lorwyn extended to gameplay as well as flavor. Light-hearted Lorwyn mechanics vanish, replaced by their grim opposites. +1/+1 counters give way to -1/-1 counters. Race matters are swapped out for color matters. Multicolor designs, scarce in Lorwyn and absent in Morningtide, now dominate. Indeed, Shadowmoor's defining hallmark is its embrace of hybrid mana, first seen in Ravnica, but here pushed to the forefront. Nearly half the set's cards are hybrid, with allied color pairs especially emphasized. While hybrid mana can be played in one color, Shadowmoor pushes players toward true two-color decks by including cards that become stronger when you control both colors in a pair. For example, the demigod auras grant modest bonuses for one shared color, but double bonuses if both match. Some creatures, like the cycle of hybrid 2-drops, require both colors to activate their strongest abilities. In addition, this set introduced a new mono-colored hybrid cost, which can be paid with 1 mana of the named color or 2 of any type. These flexible costs open deck building options, but always count as having the highest possible converted mana cost. In terms of abilities, perhaps the most striking was Wither. Damage to creatures is dealt as -1/-1 counters, shrinking them permanently instead of dealing temporary damage. This shows up mainly in red, black, and green. Funny enough, this idea was initially tried for Lorwyn, because the card designers thought -1/-1 counters would feel less mean than outright removal, which would have been perfect for the sunlit world. But in playtesting, they found that most players actually felt that the -1/-1 counters were meaner, a cruel way of killing their creatures slowly, so the mechanic was shifted to Shadowmoor. Speaking of -1/-1 counters, if a persist creature without a -1/-1 counter on it dies, it returns to the battlefield under your control with a -1/-1 counter, creating natural card advantage and combo potential. This played well with Wither, as persist creatures that had been withered wouldn't come back. Then there's Conspire. When casting a spell, you can tap 2 untapped creatures that share its color to copy the spell, allowing repeatable effects if you have the board presence. Most of these mechanics were designed to be inversions of Lorwyn, but the untap symbol was intended to invert normal magic altogether. This brand new cost mechanic lets you untap a tapped permanent to activate an ability, reversing the familiar tap cost structure. Most common in white and blue, it adds a fresh tactical layer by rewarding creative sequencing. However, some players struggled to understand what the untap symbol meant, often just assuming it was a regular tap effect. In addition to these mechanics, Shadowmoor featured a ton of card cycles, a whopping 26 in fact, some of which are even part of block-spanning mega cycles. For instance, high-cost rares such as Nullspine Dragon and Mossbridge Troll represent the living forms of Lorwyn's hideaway lands, echoing their abilities in creature form. There was also a cycle of rare creatures with impactful ETB effects plus persist, like Woodfall Primus. Next, the monocolor hybrid cards like Spectral Procession and Beseech the Queen use the 2 or 1 colored mana cost for extreme splashability, but their high mana values keep them balanced. Rare enchantments like Boon Reflection and Wound Reflection double life gain, damage, or other effects, each illustrated by Therese Nielsen or Ron Spencer. Hybrid-costed lords like Wiltleaf Liege buff creatures of their colors, +1/+1 for each shared color, stacking if both match. And they also carry an extra thematic ability. 5-mana spirit avatars, such as Demigod of Revenge, are entirely hybrid and serve as mythic level threats with iconic color pair defining abilities. All of them are interesting. Demigod of Revenge is a flying, hasty finisher that returns all copies from the graveyard when cast, once a feared closer in mono red and Rakdos decks. Oversoul of Dusk, for example, has protection from 3 colors, while Godhead of Awe makes all other creatures 1/1, in a nod to humility. Each of these demigods came with an aura to match. Steel of the Godhead and the rest of this cycle give +1/+1 and a single bonus if the enchanted creature shares 1 color, or +2/+2 and both bonuses if the creature shares both. Efficient openers like Elvish Hex Hunter cost a single hybrid mana, smoothing early turns for 2-color decks. Similarly, creatures such as Boggart Ramgang are made entirely from hybrid symbols, maximizing efficiency for 2-color curves. To go with this focus on color, Shadowmoor included a cycle of hybrid filter lands like Firelit Thicket. These can produce both colorless, or they can filter 1 colored mana into 2 allied colors, which was great for fixing difficult costs. Uncommons like Torrent of Souls change their effects based on which of their 2 colors mana you spend, offering flexibility and replay value. Shadowmoor also includes a cycle of non-basic lands with basic land types. They always enter tapped, but can activate a secondary ability if you control a permanent of the right color. The Wisps are 1-mana cantrips that can change a creature's color until end of turn, replacing themselves for smooth tempo plays, finding homes in certain niche decks. Cards like Giant Baiting and Ether Toe mix hybrid flexibility with Conspire's spell copying potential. Cards like Kithkin Rabble and Drove of Elves grow stronger for each permanent you control of their color, making them natural finishers in themed decks. In terms of power level, Shadowmoor's card pool blends commander staples, eternal format roleplayers, and standout designs that shaped deck building for years. Many became iconic for their mechanical uniqueness. First among them is Painter's Servant, the centerpiece of the classic legacy combo with Grindstone. Name a color, activate Grindstone once, and your opponent's deck is gone. It also fits into EDH decks with color-based synergies like Una or 8.5 Tails. One of the most efficient value creatures ever printed. Kitchen Finks gains life twice thanks to Persist. It stabilizes against aggro, and it forms part of the Melira Infinite Life combo. A fixture in old school modern midrange, Collected Company, and Toolbox decks. Similarly, Murderous Redcap deals damage on entry and again via Persist, creating a 2-for-1 in any matchup. Infamous for going infinite in Meliro combo decks with a sacrifice outlet, defining modern during Birthing Pod's peak. In Storm and other spell-based combo decks, Manamorphose is essentially a free spell that fixes mana, draws a card, and boosts Storm count. Also used in Izzet Phoenix and other spell chaining archetypes. Fairy Macabre is graveyard hate that can be used straight from your hand with no mana, dodging counterspells. Popular in Living End and as a sideboard surprise across formats. Repeatable land destruction in the right deck. Fulminator Mage disrupts Tron and other greedy mana bases in Modern with strong synergy in Living End. This versatile sweeper can hit flyers, ground creatures, or both, depending on the mana spent. It found homes in Standard Ramp, Modern Splinter Twin, and even Vintage Oath lists. A brutal answer to artifact or enchantment heavy decks, clearing the board and padding life totals. Staple sideboard option in green-white shells. Vexing Shusha is an uncounterable body that forces key spells through blue control, making it a valuable sideboard tool in red-green strategies. Reese the Redeemed is an explosive token commander that can double its armies turn after turn. Also a budget-friendly choice for Selesnya Swarm decks. Devoted Druid is a combo engine capable of generating infinite mana when paired with counter prevention effects, such as Melira Sylvok Outcast, a fixture in modern combo shells. This unique bird turns damage into card draw, enabling explosive combos with Seismic Assault or Chain of Plasma. Ruined Halo was the first card to give protection to a player instead of a permanent, useful in locking out specific threats. This enchantment shuts down graveyard strategies by redirecting cards from the graveyard to the bottom of the library, also protecting against mill. Savor the Moment is an ultra-cheap extra turn spell balanced by skipping the untap step, often abused in planeswalker-heavy decks. Polluted Bonds punishes opponents for playing lands, draining their life over time, a group slug favorite in Commander. Greater Auramancy gives enchantments and enchanted creatures Shroud, cementing its place in enchantment-heavy and Voltron EDH decks. Prismatic Omen makes all lands every basic land type, smoothing mana and enabling domain synergies. A 5-color Scarecrow tribal leader and flavorful commander that rewards Scarecrow decks with repeated removal. His crown also provides Shadowmoor with its set symbol. Una is a powerful commander capable of winning via damage or mill while producing evasive fairy tokens. This twisted version of Sig generates steady card draw when opponents take small chunks of damage, fitting in control or tempo strategies. Smash to Smithereens offers artifact removal with bonus damage, a mainstay in burn decks. The cute Scarecrow Pilipala adds mana when untapped, going infinite with careful cultivation. Likewise, the Aura Presence of Gond is part of an infinite combo in Pauper, producing unlimited tokens when paired with creatures like Midnight Guard that untap whenever another creature enters. Finally, Guttural Response is a cheap anti-counterspell tool for red or green decks, brutal in sideboard wars. Overall, Shadowmoor stands as one of Magic's most distinctive transformations. Not a new world, but Lorwyn turned inside out. It traded that set's warmth for mist, shadow, and a constant sense of threat. Familiar races were recast in new colors, their cultures bent toward survival, suspicion, and cruelty. It's a setting where beauty is hoarded like treasure, and every living thing is a little more dangerous than it once was. Mechanically, the set broke some new ground. Hybrid mana, explored before in small doses, became the foundation of an entire environment. The untap symbol challenged players to think in reverse. Persist and Wither deepened the -1/-1 counter theme, although Conspire was somewhat underwhelming. Color Matters designs encouraged true 2-color commitment even in a hybrid-heavy landscape, ensuring strategic depth. Shadowmoor's cycles were equally ambitious, from the elegant leisures and splashy demigods to the oddball wisps and color-aligned scarecrows. The set embraced symmetry and structure arguably more than any before it. In the end, Shadowmoor's legacy is that of a dark mirror done right. It feels alien yet connected, dangerous yet inviting. It's a testament to how far a set can push theme and mechanics in unison. It'll be fascinating to see how it's depicted in next year's Lorwyn Eclipsed. Until next time, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and consider joining my Patreon. Also, let me know which sets you'd like to see me do a set retrospective on in the future.